Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett for their first video filmed in 2017. Now, this Wednesday is a brand new comic book day. That means the first comic books of 2017 are hitting shelves. Now, what's fantastic is DC Comics is kicking off the year with the first trades for their Rebirth relaunch that happened in 2016. We've got the first trade for Superman and the first trade for Green Arrow. We're going to talk about those in a second, but for those who don't know, Rebirth was a huge event for DC Comics, not just because it really shook up their universe, but it was also meant huge sales for the company. The publisher, every single thing they put out, especially the number ones, sold in the six figures, which is unheard of in the comic book industry recently. Back in the day, it was a pretty common thing, but today, that's the huge news. And it had DC actually winning the market and dollar share for quite a few months. Basically, Rebirth, what it did was kind of merge the old DC universe with the new DC universe, that is, the new 52, fairly reviled, but had its good parts. Now, what they did was take some of the legacy and brought it into this new 52 universe, creating the Rebirth universe. Now, there's an overarching, big, huge storyline about missing time and who's behind it. Could it be Doc Manhattan from The Watchmen? Could it be Ozymandias? Who knows? We're going to find that out in the year 2 of Rebirth in 2017. But overall, the comics have been really, really good. Solid. I've been reading more DC after Rebirth than I did probably the entire time before Rebirth. I've really, really enjoyed what they've been doing. So, we've got the first two trades. For those who haven't been picking up single issues, this is your opportunity to go and get some collected stories. Now, these trades wind up in comic book shops this Wednesday, January 4th, and then they're going to be in bookstores on Tuesday, January 10th. So, you got some opportunities in 2 different times to go check it out. But we're going to talk about it today because this is the day it's in the comic book shops. First up, Green Arrow. This is by Ben Percy, Otto Schmidt, and Juan Ferreyra. Had to get that right. I messed up in the video that we did in an interview in New York Comic Con. I'm going to try my best to actually get that one right. So, Green Arrow kind of went back to basics. He went to his hometown. And what Ben Percy did in the story is kind of have Green Arrow lose a lot of his stuff, lose his money, get back to basics. And what's interesting is that the comic also ties in a bit more of a style that we've seen on the Arrow television show. There's this mysterious island that he went and got trained on. I'm going to leave that how that ties into the story, but overall it's awesome. Basically, if you like Green Arrow of old, pre-New 52, you're going to really dig this. Because the other thing that Ben Percy brought to the story is the fact that Green Arrow is a social justice warrior. He is happy to call himself a social justice warrior. There is no reason not to call oneself a social justice warrior. Why? Because he actually fights for social justice. He cares about the people who are getting trampled on by the police, by developers, by crooked politicians, and he's going out and can do something about it. That's the thing that really makes Green Arrow different than Batman. Batman goes and kicks the crap out of criminals. Green Arrow actually goes and, does some social things, helps people who Batman isn't really overlooking. Batman's got his rows, Green Arrow's got the people he helps. Really, really fun. Other thing that Percy brought back into the fore of Green Arrow is his relationship with Black Canary Diana Lance. Now, this is a couple that had a relationship for a really, really long time, and we kind of see that start happening here. Now, remember, time has been stolen in the DC universe, so they don't really remember their past relationship at all. So this is them rediscovering each other, which is really fun and gives someone the Green Arrow to work off of. Overall, really solid. But what's also great solid is that art by Schmidt and Ferreyra. I'm going to get it right one time. It flips off and it switches halfway through, so they each have about equal number. So this is Schmidt's type of art. I absolutely loved it. I think it's just fantastic to look at. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then this is when things begin to shift, and we get a different style. Now, it's funny reading it single issues. I didn't really notice it, but I do notice it in the trade. It's not necessarily a bad thing because both art styles are really gorgeous and fantastic to look at. Overall, the story has to deal with crooked businessmen and hiding money from the mob. Read it, enjoy it, it's fun. The thing that's also really interesting is that there's a slight horror tinge to it as far as who the bad guys are. So, interesting stuff. Story-wise, art-wise, fantastic, entertaining. It really gets Green Arrow back to its roots. Now, The reason we're doing video reviews of these trade paperbacks instead of doing printed trade, normal typed out reviews is because we got to go over the stuff that's in the back. Trades in graphic novels, sometimes you just get the story and that's it. Sometimes you get maybe the story and some covers, or you get a little bit more. Now here you get a little bit more. So there is a cover gallery, so you can go and check out what you missed in the single issues. But with this in particular, we also get character designs, which I think is actually pretty cool to check out. These are the type of things I like to go at and look at. And the other thing is we get kind of unused cover sketches for the various issues. It's a nice value added. I think it looks really cool, and things to go over and check out. I enjoy it. I'm kind of a geeky like that. So you get a nice addition in top of the story. So this collects Green Arrow Rebirth number 1, Green Arrow 1 through 5. So 6 issues total for a price of $16.99. We're going to have links underneath this video that you can go and get it. We're going to go try to find some good deals for you to pick that up on. Also out is Superman Volume 1. This is Sons of Superman by Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Doug Mahnke, and Jorge Jimenez. Now, I'll be the first to admit, and I'm sure even DC will be willing to admit, that Superman kind of lost his luster over these recent years. He isn't quite the draw that he should be. Something was missing. Well, I don't know what the hell Tomasi and Gleason did, but they seem to have found what is missing with Superman. Apparently it was his kid. So the Sons of Superman brings the Superman, his son, and Lois from a different DC universe into the New 52 universe. I guess we'll go with that to try to explain it best. So this is actually the old classic Superman that used to wear his underwear on the outside being thrown into this new and different world. We're not going to explain why. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that they're there. Now, there was a series that was Superman, Lois and Clark, a limited series that came out last year that really kind of introduced them into this universe. It was absolutely fantastic. You should go check it out. For this one, you don't need to read that to catch up. Instead, we have Superman basically learning about his son and this new world that he's in, trying to figure out what's going on. The old Superman died at the end of New 52, so he's kind of got to go pick up where things are at. Obviously, he doesn't have the relationship with this version of Batman and Wonder Woman, so there's that. And then, Lois and their son all have to kind of get integrated into this new world as well. All kinds of crazy stuff. But what does that sound like? That means there's a focus on family, and that seems to be the heart of this story. It's not just a Superman story, it's Superman and son, hence, the title of Son of Superman, and more also his wife. Lois is in here, and she's pretty key in the storytelling. So there's this great, heartfelt, warm, touching thing that's about it. I mean, to see his son, Jonathan, go and, manifest his powers and start getting used to that and eventually get his costume, it's awesome. I absolutely loved it. It really felt like old school, positive Superman that just put a smile on your face, and there was excitement about it. Just really great to see. And the art is fantastic. Just like all the rest of the Rebirth, there's these nice throwbacks to what has happened before. I mean, for anyone that's seen this, immediately this goes back to the old Man of Steel miniseries that came out in the 80s that redefined Superman just like that. This first arc is redefining Superman. Now, this has them dealing with a new Eradicator who has shown up and is kind of trying to figure out what's going on with all the Kryptonians that are out there and battles Superman and his son. We get to see Lois basically become badass in this as they battle Eradicator from everywhere from their hometown and around that area to the Fortress of Solitude to the moon. It's a crazy storyline. Crypto's in it. Well worth checking out. I mean, it was just a big drag out fight. And I don't know, I really like this version of the Eradicator. It was a solid character that I can't really, my memory of him is the whole Return of Superman from the 90s. Art is absolutely fantastic. As I said, there's like throwback vibe to a lot of it. The coloring is gorgeous, and it brings that positive feel about Superman and what he means, and his the return to family. I think is super important. Now this one, a little bit different than the other comic. This has collects issues 1 through 6 plus the Superman Rebirth one shot, so 7 issues. Also for $16.99, so you get a little bit better of a deal, more issues in this trade paperback. So out of the two, this one is is much better. And check out that cover. That's such a badass cover. So, like the other comic book, trade paperback, this one has covers, variant covers that weren't used, and there's a little bit of extra in the back. There's not quite as much, I don't think. I didn't really go and count and compare, but glancing at it quickly, it seems like there's a little bit less. There's also a different take on this. Instead of character designs, we not only get sketches like we see over here, but we get script to check out as well, which that's something that I think is really, really neat, to get script excerpts to see how that translates to the page. I think it's pretty cool and something that I like to check out. And you know, if you are fans of comic books, it's something you might want to check out. So we get amazing pencils like this in the back. And overall, you know, for the price that you're getting, I mean, think about these. We're told the line at $2.99. So it's 7 issues that normally would be $3. So it's 21. You're getting it for $16.99. Here it's 6 issues, which would be $18. It's still only $16.99. So with both trades, you're not only getting those issues, you're getting some extras. You're getting a couple of bucks less than you would have paid out on the single issues. So both of these are in stores. You know, I think the Rebirth was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't read the single issues, if you want to check things out, if you're interested in Green Arrow, interested in Superman, these are both really good trade paperbacks to start with, to see what Rebirth's about and what kind of this new positive energy that exists in the DC universe. Now, DC hooked us up with these trades. They've been hooking us up with free review copies of the site for quite some time, and thank you so much for that. I would recommend these no matter what. I think they're really good trade paperbacks to start with. You get a really good sense as to where things are in the Rebirth universe. These are two very different characters to start with. I actually think it says a hell of a lot that Green Arrow is one of the two trade paperbacks to be released as opposed to Superman and Batman. The Superman is some of my favorite Superman that I've read since, I mean, pretty much the 90s. I kind of stopped post-Death of Superman because I just thought it was like slightly ridiculous, and the New 52 stuff just didn't interest me at all. But this has got me super excited. I read it every single month when it comes out. It's one of the first things I read. Green Arrow as well has just been really solid and kind of returned to the classic character. So, thumbs up. Absolutely go get these when they're out in the store this Wednesday, or you can wait and go get it in bookstores next Tuesday. Thank you for DC Comics for sending them to us. We'll have more of these as more trades come out, and you know, a lot more, I think, book reviews and video reviews of comic books as the year goes on. But if you like comic book news, you should check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. We've got tons of features, reviews, interviews, and more every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're taking on a huge undertaking for 2017 with something new every single day, and we are sticking to the schedule, and we're going to hit it hell or high water. So far, we've had manga reviews, which we've really never done manga reviews. On Tuesday, we have the return of the Comics Are All Right column. Since this is a Wednesday, it's all new reviews, so all the books that are coming out, we just review the crap out of them and get you some of our opinions as to what you should get. Thursday is about European comics, and Friday we're doing Retro Friday, and there'll be stuff Saturday and Sunday as well. So, comic book fan, no excuse, check it out. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky.